Peppa Pig, Peppa Meets the Queen. Peppa and her family are watching television. Suddenly, there is a special announcement from the Queen. The Queen! The Queen! Peppa cheers. Hello to you all, the Queen says. Today I have decided to give an award to the hardest working person in the country.
Wow!
The hardest working person in the country is Miss Rabbit. At the supermarket, Miss Rabbit is closing the shop when Mr. Zebra the postman presents her with a golden letter. Miss Rabbit, please come to my palace to get a medal for all your hard work. Bring friends, all the best, the Queen. I can't visit the Queen, I've got too much work to do, Miss Rabbit panics. Don't worry, Peppa says. The Queen has made it a holiday. It is the day Miss Rabbit visits the Queen. Peppa and her friends are going too. We're off to see the Queen, we're off to see the Queen. E-I-I-D-O, we're off to see the Queen. Here we are, Miss Rabbit squeaks.
Wow!
Look at all the fancy stuff. Woof, Danny Dog says. Don't touch anything, Miss Rabbit warns. Where is the Queen? Emily Elephant asks. Queen! Susie Sheep calls. Where are you? In another fancy room, there is a lady sitting on a throne knitting. Hello, Peppa says. Have you seen the Queen today? I am the Queen, the lady says. The children are very excited to meet you, Your Majesty, says Miss Rabbit. I'm excited to meet all of you, the Queen says, standing up. And now for Miss Rabbit's medal.
Wow!
This is the Queen's award for industry. Keep up the good work. The Queen puts a shiny gold medal over Miss Rabbit's head. Cheers for Miss Rabbit, the Queen says. Hip hip, hooray, shout the children.
Hooray! Hooray!
Miss Rabbit and the children wear their boots to go out into the palace gardens with the Queen. Do you play in your garden all the time, Your Majesty? Danny Dog asks. I don't have time for playing, no, answers the Queen. She suddenly stops. Oh dear, a muddy puddle. Never mind, we can walk around it. You can't walk around a muddy puddle, Peppa says. You have to jump in it. Peppa shows the Queen how to jump up and down in a muddy puddle. I say, that does look fun, the Queen says. Here one goes then. Stop! Shouts Peppa. Everyone gasps. If you jump in muddy puddles, Peppa says, you must wear your boots, Your Majesty. The Queen goes inside and comes back with her boots on. Everyone loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles, including the Queen. The end. Peppa Pig, Grumpy Rabbit's hovercraft. Grandpa Pig is taking Peppa and George out for the first time on his sailing boat. Hello, old bean, says Mr. Stallion. Grandpa, that man just called you an old bean, cries Peppa. It's another way of saying old friend, says Grandpa Pig. Now, where did I leave my boat? Says Grandpa Pig. What does your boat look like, Grandpa? Asks Peppa. It has a little red flag on top of the mast, says Grandpa Pig. Like that little flag? Asked Peppa. Oh dear, Grandpa Pig's sailing boat has sunk.
Oh no!
Grampy Rabbit zooms past the boat.
What is that monstrosity?
Asked Mr. Stallion.
Is it allowed in the sailing club?
Asks Mrs. Corgi. Grampy Rabbit reaches Peppa and George.
Hello!
Shouts Grampy Rabbit.
What a marvellous day for sailing.
Hello, Grampy Rabbit, says Peppa.
Grandpa Pig, you look sad,
says Grampy Rabbit.
What's the matter?
We can't go sailing because our boat has sunk, says Peppa.
Why don't you hop onto my hovercraft?
Suggests Grampy Rabbit.
You can't drive that thing around here,
says Grandpa Pig.
You're not a member of the sailing club. Well, you're a member, aren't you?
Replies Grampy Rabbit.
So I'm sure it will be perfectly fine.
Hooray!
Peppa, George and Grandpa Pig board Grampy Rabbit's hovercraft.
Hold on to your hats,
shouts Grampy Rabbit as they zoom across the sea. Grampy Rabbit's hovercraft can go on land and water.
Wow!
Mr. Stallion and Mrs. Corgi are enjoying a peaceful day's sailing.
Oh, what is that horrible noise?
Cries Mrs. Corgi.
It's that monstrosity again,
says Mr. Stallion.
Whoopee! Ha ha!
Says Grampy Rabbit. Grampy Rabbit stops off at the Sailing Club Cafe to get some juice.
This is the life, eh?
Says Grampy Rabbit.
The sea and the sky and the boat sailing by.
Wow!
But the boats are not sailing by, Grampy Rabbit, says Peppa.
There's no wind,
says Grandpa Pig. Without wind, sailing boats can't sail. Suddenly, they hear voices calling for help. It's Mr. Stallion and Mrs. Corgi. We need to rescue them, Grampy Rabbit, says Peppa. Grampy Rabbit zooms towards the shouting.
Ahoy there,
he calls.
We can't get back to the dock without the wind,
says Mrs. Corgi.
Toss me a line and I'll tow you back in,
says Grampy Rabbit. Grampy Rabbit's hovercraft tows the sailing boats back to shore.
We're towing the boats to shore, we're towing the boats to shore,
sings Grampy Rabbit.
We're towing the boats to the car park, towing the boats to B Park,
sings Grampy Rabbit.
Now you don't have to go so far to walk your cars. But sailing boats don't go on land like hovercrafts,
gasps Grandpa Pig.
Grandpa Pig, who is your friend?
asks Mr. Stallion.
We must thank him for rescuing us.
His name is Grampy Rabbit, replies Grandpa Pig.
Grampy Rabbit, delighted to meet you, old bean,
says Mr. Stallion.
You too, old bean,
replies Grampy Rabbit.
The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.
Are you sleeping?